Gu Manyun, the sole daughter of Jiangxing's wealthiest man, went bankrupt and ended up on the streets. Just as my family struck it rich overnight, I rolled up in a Jinbei van, offered her 30 million to bear my child, and basically packed up her whole family while I was at it. Who knew the Gu family would make a comeback? I grabbed the son she had just born, took my whole family, and fled overnight. The next time we met, I was running a street stall with a kid. She looked at me, her gaze icy cold. I mocked myself. Go ahead and hit me if you want. But her star-like eyes filled with tears. I've long wanted to beat you to death, you heartless bastard. 10 lamb skewers, no spice. A cool voice interrupted. All right, hold on a sec. Without even looking at the customer, holding my 3-year-old son in my left arm, a cigarette dangling crookedly from my mouth, I skillfully grabbed 10 lamb skewers and dipped them in sauce. Son, how about keeping Dad company until 2 today? I muttered as I worked. Okay, Daddy. My son was very well behaved. I was pleased. He takes after his mom in looks, definitely going to be devastatingly handsome later on. I took the cigarette out of my mouth, gave him a quick kiss on the cheek, and started grumbling. People say daughters are money losers, but I think sons are about the same. If your grandparents could watch you today, your old man could stay out here until 5 a.m. Damn it, missed out on several $100. My son was too young to understand much, just nodding and saying, oh, Lin Qianduo. A roar interrupted me. I jumped, startled. I looked up, and my soul nearly left my body. A stunningly beautiful woman stared at me, her eyes icy cold, like frost over a deep winter pool, piercing right through me. The chilling aura emanating from her felt like it would swallow me whole in the next second. You. I started stammering. The murderous intent in the woman's eyes sent shivers down my spine. Gu Manyun, you're something else. I took my whole family and hid in some godforsaken corner, and you still managed to find me? After a long moment, unable to bear her gaze any longer, I stammered, Are you doing here? But she remained as cold as ever, glancing at me before her eyes fell on her son. Her gaze visibly softened, and tears instantly welled up. My son, a little scared, hid in my arms, peeking at her timidly. Why couldn't she come? Beside Gu Manyun, a handsome young man spoke coldly, his eyes filled with jealousy as he looked at me. I couldn't be bothered with him. Wu Qian, wealthy family, and Gu Manyun's dedicated admirer. Seeing I wasn't responding, his face darkened. He turned to Gu Manyun and said, You said that once the child was found, our wedding could proceed as planned. Before Gu Manyun could speak, he continued, Do it. Instantly, the bodyguards behind him stepped forward and rushed towards me. Fuck you, trying to snatch my son. Rage instantly consumed me. I snatched the cleaver from the cutting board and swung it at the nearest bodyguard's head. The bodyguard, quick-eyed and quick-handed, dodged back just in time, breaking out in a cold sweat. Seeing this, the other bodyguards knew they were dealing with someone desperate. Wah! Sobi. My son, terrified, burst into loud tears. I stood there, cleaver held out in one hand, son in the other, ready to fight like hell. Stop it! Gu Manyun shrieked. Smack! She backhanded Wu Qian across the face, saying with bone-chilling coldness, Who told you to act on your own? If you hurt my son, I'll have your life. Wu Qian's face cycled through colors, but he didn't dare react, merely shutting his mouth. There was nothing he could do. The power gap between the Wu and Gu families was too vast. Furthermore, he wanted to marry her now, so he had to swallow his anger. All of you get out. Gu Manyun snapped. Wu Qian, his face full of reluctance, left with all the bodyguards, leaving only Gu Manyun behind. Seeing them leave, I finally lowered the cleaver and started comforting my son. Bei. Gu Manyun's voice was gentle as water. My son raised his teary eyes, asking, Who are you? The next moment, Gu Manyun's cold eyes cut into my face. My lingering anger hadn't subsided. Just as I was about to speak, the image of Gu Manyun's frail appearance after childbirth flashed through my mind, and my heart softened. She's your mom. Mom? My son looked bewildered. Gu Manyun clenched her teeth secretly, then smiled at our son. Mom just means mommy. I am your mommy, Sop. She could no longer hold back, snatching our son over and hugging him tightly, weeping uncontrollably. The Ice Queen cried. This was something I had never seen before. and for a moment I was stunned too. I had known her for 7 years and had never seen this side of her. "Daddy." My son, a little scared, struggled out of Gu Manyun's embrace and rushed towards me. I caught him at once, my heart blooming with joy, my face full of pride. Gu Manyun didn't dare go against her son and could only let go. "Lin Qianduo, I want." "Not a chance." I knew what she wanted to say and refused directly. "Name your terms." "How much money?" "How much money? Do you think I care about money?" Gu Manyun was left speechless. She knew the man before her truly didn't care about money. Back when her family fell on hard times, deserted by everyone, her father imprisoned, the family ended up on the streets. I showed up driving a van, loading their whole family up in one go. 30 million to marry me, and then bear me a child. This was the first thing I said when I found Gu Manyun. Looking at her helpless family, old and young, Gu Manyun gritted her teeth and agreed. She knew very well that my dad had only netted 40 million from his lottery win. 30 million, while not much for the Gu family of the past, could still allow them to live a decent life after their downfall. After Gu Manyun married me, I worked hard every night. Dad put it well. This time, improving the Lin family bloodline is a matter of great importance. There's no room for error. For Dad and me, having the stunningly beautiful daughter of the richest man bear a Lin family offspring was the most important thing. Money didn't matter. "Oh, Manyun, why are you here?" Dad and Mom appeared out of nowhere. Seeing the two suddenly appear, I felt a surge of annoyance. This trip back to our hometown to visit family. Gu Manyun must have discovered our whereabouts. We were followed, and yet she got here faster than us. Hilarious. Mom took the grandson, keeping a distance from Gu Manyun, her face wary. Dad, on the other hand, looked extremely awkward and said, "Manyun, are you hungry? Want some lamb skewers?" Gu Manyun, holding back her frustration, said, "I'm not hungry. I'll be going now." After she had walked far away, the three of us exchanged glances and immediately packed up the stall and went home. In the living room, the atmosphere was a bit heavy. Dad spoke first. "I think we still have to leave, keep moving, find another place. At worst, we just won't visit family anymore." Mom nodded in agreement, hugging her precious grandson dearly. The Gu family must be here to snatch the child. If we don't leave now, when will we? She even used an idiom, which was really something. You have to know, the last time we fled, Mom had been against it. My brows furrowed tightly, deeply agreeing. "Let's go. Right now." As soon as the words fell, the three of us split up and sprang into action. Anything we couldn't take, we left behind completely. Even what we could take, we picked selectively. As for the barbecue stall, forget all of it. Anyway, besides the 30 million given to the Gu family, the rest of Dad's lottery winnings had also been completely lost by the two of us. Losing these few odds and ends didn't make a difference. After fleeing 3 years ago, Dad thought he should invest in business. In case he became super rich, letting me go back and properly marry Gu Manyun wasn't impossible. Who would have thought my dad and I were simply not cut out for business? Whatever we invested in, we lost money. When we finally had nothing left, we could only pick up the family trade, roasting lamb skewers. Dad set up shop in the east of the city, I set up in the west. We managed to get by. Eventually, we figured out why we kept losing money. It must have been the name Dad gave me that was the problem. Lin Qianduo means lots of small change, destined never to make big money. Dad felt very guilty about it. Barely 20 minutes later, Mom holding the baby, Dad and I carrying bags big and small, we headed downstairs. However, just as we reached the bottom of the stairs, we met Gu Manyun's ambiguous, half-smiling gaze. "Where are you off to in such a hurry, so late at night?" The atmosphere froze. After a long moment, Dad chuckled sheepishly. "Oh, well, we're just heading home to visit family. Relatives and friends all want to see our baby, you know. So we were just..." A smile touched Gu Manyun's lips. "How convenient. It's on my way. Let's go together." After speaking, she stepped aside, revealing the extended Maybach behind her. I sighed inwardly. We had no choice. Our family of 4 was completely surrounded by more than 10 bodyguards. Dad and I exchanged a look, immediately understanding each other's thoughts. My expression hardened, and I said, "Gu Manyun, regarding the custody of our son, you don't need to come looking for me anymore. I didn't spend that 30 million back then for nothing. Your Gu family wants to ally with the Wu family through marriage. From what Wu Qian said, your condition is to get the son back. Let me tell you, no way. He's a child of the Lin family. Having him call another man dad? Over my dead body. Gu Manyun pursed her red lips, her eyes holding an unreadable expression as she said, "When did I ever say I was going to fight you for our son? Huh?" I was instantly baffled. "If you're not here to take the son, why did you come looking for us?" Gu Manyun's face darkened. "Lin Qianduo, Lin Beibei is the child I carried for 10 months. Don't I even have the right to see him?" "Well, of course you do." I felt a bit awkward. To be honest, this running away business, what our family did wasn't exactly right. But our Gu family is powerful. If they decided to take the son, I wouldn't be able to resist at all. Hiding was the safer option. Gu Manyun nodded and said, "I didn't come here to fight you for the child. I just want to know where he is, so that when I miss him, I can see him anytime, anywhere. That's all. Is that all? All right then, you can go back first. Feel free to come whenever you want to visit. Come on, Mom, give me the son. Let his mother hold him for a bit." Lin Beibei was already fast asleep by this time. I carefully took him and placed him in Gu Manyun's arms. I know Gu Manyun. She keeps her word. There's no need for her to lie to me. Besides, theoretically speaking, the possibility of her marrying someone else while having the child is almost nil. Gu Manyun gazed at the little one sleeping soundly in her arms, her maternal instincts overflowing, her face filled with affection. "Have you had a good look? If you're done, give the child back to me." A few minutes passed, and I thought she had held him long enough. Gu Manyun shot me a fierce glare and whispered, "You and your damned attitude. That impatient temper of yours will never change." I rubbed my nose. Why start scolding me now? My mom beside me, however, looked at Gu Manyun with a thoughtful expression. After a long pause, Gu Manyun finally couldn't hold back. She carefully planted a kiss on the child's face, a look of utter contentment spreading across hers. "You should move back to Jiangcheng. That way, I can see the child every day." Gu Manyun looked at me and said seriously. I shook my head vigorously. I refused without a second thought. Once we're on her home turf, wouldn't we be completely at her mercy? Seeing how stubborn I was, the corners of Gu Manyun's eyes reddened, and she said exasperatedly, "I just want to be able to see the child often. You stay in this small border town that doesn't even have an airport. It takes so long to drive back and forth. How? How am I supposed to see the child? Besides, in a place like this, what kind of future development can a child have? Are you going to have Beibei follow you, selling lamb skewers in the future? Weren't you always talking about improving the Lin family bloodline? So it still comes down to selling lamb skewers in the end?" Her retort left me speechless. Dad looked disgruntled too. After quite a while, I managed to mumble out hesitantly, "Teach this ancestral secret recipe for lamb skewers. It still needs to be passed down." You. Gu Manyun's willow-like eyebrows shot up, her eyes filled with fury. Her bright lips were pressed tightly together, her cheeks flushed red with anger, and her chest heaved violently. 100,000 a month. That's child support for Beibei. The child stays with you. I only have one condition. When I want to see my son, I can see him anytime. Could it really be this good? My face was full of suspicion. After exchanging a look with Mom and Dad, I nodded and said, "Teach, that's fine then. All right, now I'm really flush with cash. After all, I still care about my son's upbringing environment. As long as the Gu family doesn't try to take him, everything is negotiable." Could it be that 3 years ago, even if we hadn't left, the Gu family wouldn't have tried to take the child? I speculated inwardly. On the way back to Jiangcheng, somehow, Gu Manyun managed to delight our son. He called out Mommy more and more naturally. Watching them made me quite envious, and I couldn't help feeling regretful, afraid this woman Gu Manyun would go back on her word. Finally, after 3 years away, we arrived in Jiangcheng. Looking through the car window at the familiar city, my heart filled with countless emotions. The car pulled into a small townhouse complex. I remembered this was what Gu Manyun bought to settle her family after I gave the Gu family 30 million. Now it was empty inside. Oh well, it was bought with my own money anyway. Living here wouldn't be too awkward. Gu Manyun indeed kept her promise, saying she needed to go back to the company to handle some matters. She didn't take the child with her. Bye-bye, Mommy. Mommy has to come see Bebe, okay? My son gave Gu Manyun a kiss on the cheek. Gu Manyun immediately beamed like a flower and kissed him back. Mommy will be back soon. After she left, the family meeting reconvened. Dad, is this reliable? Mom, shouldn't be a big problem, right? My phone, Alipay received, 100,000 yuan, in a family meeting. Not long after, Mom and Dad went out carrying my son. Needless to say, they definitely went to show off their grandson to relatives and friends. After all, he takes after his mother. He's too good looking. Now, I was the only one left in the house. I took a shower, changed my clothes, and lay down on a sofa to scroll through pictures of pretty girls online. With this scrolling session, I followed dozens more accounts. Enjoying the view. Yeah, hee. Damn it. When did you get here? I turned around and saw Gu Manyun standing behind the sofa with a cold expression, which gave me a huge fright. Gu Manyun didn't speak, just stared straight at me until my scalp tingled. Then she said softly, Lin, you are so cruel. Her eyes, like water, were clear as a spring. My face flushed red, and I was speechless. Ever since high school first year, when Gu Manyun and I were desk mates, I had never lost a verbal spar with her, but right now, I couldn't utter a word. However, thinking about her upcoming marriage, my heart sank. I replied, You're getting married soon, after all. It's better to avoid saying such ambiguous things. After speaking, I propped my crossed legs up on the coffee table and started shaking one foot. Gu Manyun stared at the back of my head, gritting her teeth. Unable to hold back, she smacked it with a pa sound. Ouch, damn it, you damn woman. You really hit hard. That hurt like hell. Regarding the Gu and Wu families matter, it's inconvenient for me to say much. You'll find out when the time comes. Gu Manyun's icy voice came from behind me. What does that mean? I didn't get it, and I couldn't be bothered to think about it. What are your plans? Gu Manyun sat down opposite me and asked. I was a bit baffled. Haven't thought about it, I said. Her beautiful eyes glanced away. I need an assistant. Are you interested? Assistant. Working side by side, day in and day out. Looking at her graceful figure, my heart stirred. Back then, I knew everything about her. Gu Manyun's ears turned red under my gaze, and she shifted restlessly. Not doing it. I refused directly. Now Gu Manyun has started taking over the Gu family business and often appears on TV. I knew this much. Needing an assistant is also extremely normal. But as a grown man, being at a woman's beck and call day in and day out really doesn't interest me. I don't know if it was my imagination, but a look of disappointment flashed across Gu Manyun's face. Then you can't just stay home doing nothing all day, can you? I was instantly displeased. I make 100,000 a month now. Take good care of our son. Watch over him. What else do I need to do? The very picture of a kept man acting tough, outrageously arrogant. Unexpectedly, Gu Manyun's lips twitched slightly, and she nodded. That's fine, too. After she finished speaking, the two faced each other in silence. After a long while, I suddenly spoke. Let's go to the Civil Affairs Bureau another day. I can't hold you back. Gu Manyun, whose expression had been normal, instantly turned into millennial-old ice, her keep-your-distance aura making people shrink back. Have you thought this through? Her voice was as cold as an icy spring. My heart seemed to sense something. But thinking of her status, I still gritted my teeth and said, Yes, fine. See you at the Civil Affairs Bureau at 9 tomorrow morning. After speaking, she stood up and walked toward the door. Aren't you waiting for her son to come back? I called out from behind her. However, Gu Manyun's steps only quickened. Soon she disappeared from my sight. Mom and Dad returned with our son, overjoyed. Both looked satisfied. It seemed the process of showing him off had been very happy. I took our son in my arms, looked at his face, 70% similar to Gu Manyun's, and sighed softly. Gu Manyun eventually returned, took our son in a tender embrace, and left without giving me a second glance. The next day, 9 o'clock sharp, I arrived at the Civil Affairs Bureau on time. Half an hour passed, but there was no sign of Gu Manyun. Unable to wait any longer, I called her directly. 5 consecutive calls went unanswered. Only on the 6th call did an unfamiliar female voice come through, saying, Hello, who is this? Director Gu is in a meeting. Please call back later if it's important. All right then. I turned and went home. For some reason, deep down inside, there was a tiny sliver of relief. for 3 consecutive days. Gu Mannion came over to see our son after work every day, as usual. However, she never showed up at the Civil Affairs Bureau. At home, she didn't say a single word to me either. Lin Qianduo, get the fuck out here. A furious roar came from outside. Hearing the familiar voice, my face lit up with joy. As soon as I stepped out, I saw Yulong, my good buddy of over 10 years. Haha, brother, long time no see, have you? Ouch! I cried out in pain. My nose felt like it had been struck by lightning, and 2 streams of warmth gushed out. Fuck! With my fiery temper, how could I stand that? I immediately landed a punch right on his right eye. Yulong yelped in pain and kicked me in the stomach. Bang, bang, bang. Instantly, Yulong and I were trading blows back and forth. Quite the spectacle. My parents glanced over, then closed the door, looking like out of sight, out of mind, afraid of upsetting their precious grandson. The 2 of them seemed used to it. Can't be helped. The 2 of us have been fighting since we were kids. Gu Mannion was also inside. Seeing me yelp in pain from time to time, her red lips couldn't help but curve upwards slightly. As my dad closed the door, she went to find our son, not bothering with me. 20 minutes later, Yulong and I were collapsed on the ground, unable to move. You Xiaoqiong, are you fucking brain dead? I cursed loudly, my mouth twisted and eyes askew. Yulong, bruised and swollen, chuckled coldly. What? I just felt like hitting you. Not happy. Come on then. Bring it on. Who's afraid of who? Shouting was one thing, but we really had no strength left. After a while, I sighed and said, I say, are you sick in the head? Launching a sneak attack the moment we meet. Yulong snorted and said, It's you I'm hitting, you son of a bitch who loves and leaves. Ah, so that's why. Mentioning this, I looked embarrassed. He looked at me seriously and said, Do you have any idea? After you left, Gu Mannion searched for you like a madwoman. Right here, she came at least twice a month. And I heard, because she was so heartbroken, her postpartum recovery went poorly, leaving her with lasting health issues. What? She searched for me like a madwoman, and her health suffered permanently. My heart ached sharply. I remained silent. Lin Qianduo, I really don't know what goes on in that head of yours. I hear you still want to divorce her. Thinking about how heartless you are, I regret ever being brothers with you. Yulong looked utterly contemptuous. I hung my head, dejected. I don't deserve her. Deserve or don't deserve. She bore you a son, and now you say this to me? Back in high school, who couldn't see what was going on between you 2? Bickering all the time, but liking each other deep down. Just thinking about it is cringy. Yulong touched his swollen cheek, his expression full of scorn. Bullshit. I flushed red. Yulong shook his head and patted my shoulder. Did you really think you were the only one who could cough up 30 million? Before you, Wu Qian offered 100 million. 100 million. My mind reeled, like a storm raging at sea. Yulong struggled to his feet, dusted off his pants, and headed for the door. Let's grab a drink some other day. If you screw things up again, I swear I'll beat you to death. After he left, I couldn't hold back any longer. The tears wouldn't stop. I went back inside and saw Gu Mannion alone. Mannion, are you feeling okay? I carefully approached her. Seeing my battered face, she twitched her lips, but said nothing. I seem to have lost our marriage certificate. I finally mustered the courage to say something ambiguous. Hearing this, Gu Mannion sighed and stared at me blankly. Should we get a replacement? I shook my head vigorously like a rattle drum. If it's gone, it's gone. Why replace it? A gentle look flashed in her beautiful eyes. She didn't say anything, just gently rested her head on my shoulder, a relieved smile spreading across her face. The world fell silent. No one wanted to disturb the ripples of this moment. For a long, long time. Don't do this again. It hurts me, leaving those words behind. Gu Mannion left, but I felt melancholic and lost. Time passed quickly. A month flew by in a flash. Today was the engagement day for the Wu and Gu families. The hotel was opulent, teeming with guests. I stood in a corner, watching the couple on the stage. An indescribable bitterness filled my heart. What was Gu Mannion trying to do? Was she trying to play both sides? Getting engaged to someone else here? What did her words that night mean then? I had thought something would change, but I never imagined it was all just an illusion. For a moment, my heart felt like dead ashes. You bastard, come out for a drink. I called Yulong. At a late-night food stall, Yulong drank with me until I was completely wasted. You hit me for nothing last time. Oomph. I still think there's more to it than meets the eye. Piss off. Before I knew it, I had drunk myself unconscious. When I woke up again, the first thing I saw was a face so beautiful it took my breath away. You, how did you get here? Where am I? Eyes blurry, I saw Gu Manyun sitting beside me. Looking around, I realized I was in a hotel room. What? Sad to see me getting engaged to someone else. Her ruby lips parted slightly, the corners curving upwards like peach blossoms blooming in spring, laughter spilling from her eyes. Hearing this, I sobered up considerably. I sneered. Sad about what? Yulong's girlfriend dumped him. I was just keeping a friend company through thick and thin, comforting his broken heart. Puffed. Gu Manyun burst out laughing, radiant as a flower. All right, I forgot to tell you. Big brother Yulong got married last year. You've only met him twice, so he probably hasn't told you yet. What the fuck? That bastard Yulong. I hope he dies a horrible death. Instantly, my face turned beet red. I quickly changed the subject. You should worry about yourself. You're already engaged, yet you come here to be alone in a room with me, a single man and woman. Aren't you afraid of gossip? Gu Manyun watched my expression with great interest, looking quite satisfied. All right, if things go as expected, the Wu family will collapse tomorrow. What do you mean? Collapse? I was completely dumbfounded. Gu Manyun nodded, saying cheerfully, it means nothing special, just the literal meaning. Really? That's great. I mean, how unfortunate. Why didn't you tell me earlier? The smile on my face could no longer be hidden, though I was also a little angry. Suddenly, Gu Manyun's starry eyes filled with tears. You were gone for 3 whole years. Do you know what it felt like, lying alone in the hospital? Back then, Father was reinstated and his name cleared. I thought it would be a happy occasion, but then you took our son and ran off. In an instant, our perfectly fine family was gone. The child was so young, he couldn't even have breast milk. I thought you loved me. But what happened? Because of your own secret plans, you didn't explain anything to me and just left. Ior truly cruel arte de artifted. Sobi. I deliberately didn't tell you. I wanted to infuriate you. Sobi. In an instant, Gu Manyun dissolved into tears. I suddenly felt helpless, overwhelmed by guilt. Go ahead and hit me if you want. Don't hold back. Gu Manyun cried even harder, but her delicate fists tapped my face gently, without much force. I'm going to beat you to death, you heartless man. I couldn't hold back any longer and pulled her tightly into my arms. The soft, fragrant embrace after a long separation. I found her red lips familiarly and pressed mine against them. Dry tinder meeting fierce fire ignited in an instant. A torrential storm erupted, pouring down, unwilling to cease for a long time. The next day, news of the Wu family's collapse was everywhere. It left people utterly stunned. They just formed a marriage alliance with the richest Gu family yesterday, and today they're finished. What a coincidence. Gu Manyun and Wu Qian's marriage, of course, came to nothing. Gu Manyun told me. The last time the Gu family ran into trouble, it was the Wu family's doing. Moreover, Wu Qian offering 100 million for her to marry him wasn't done with good intentions either. This time, the Gu family deliberately agreed to the marriage proposal, then employed various tactics to take revenge and settle the score. Today, the house was exceptionally lively. Gu Manyun brought her whole family, young and old, straight to my door. My father-in-law-to-be, Gu Pengsheng, looked at me sternly and said slowly, "You helped our Gu family in our time of need. Did you think we Gu are ungrateful people, that you could just abandon your wife and child like that?" I repeatedly apologized and admitted my mistake. My father-in-law, truly worthy of being the richest man, was magnanimous and didn't bother arguing with me. He picked up his big grandson and went off to enjoy family happiness. 1 month later, a grand wedding was held in Jiang City. Gu Manyun and I, holding our son's hand, walked down the aisle. I was overjoyed. Her face was full of happiness. My good brother Yulong watched from below, tears streaming down his face, clapping until his hands were swollen. All the relatives knew our story. The road we had traveled was truly incredibly difficult. They were all clapping for us, blessing us. This time I understood. I learned how to communicate, no longer bickering, no longer staying silent. After marriage, I constantly whispered sweet nothings, teasing my ice queen wife until she blushed bright red every day, burying her face in embarrassment. It made me ecstatic. See, isn't this much better? Between husband and wife, why must there be mutual hurt?